ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ यश्छन्दसा मृषभो विश्वरूपः छन्दोभ्योऽध्यमृतात् सम्बभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया स्पृणोतु अमृतस्य देवधारणो भूयासं शरीरं मे विचर्षणम् जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्यां भूरिविश्रुवम् ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया श्रुतं मे गोपाय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ अहं वृक्षस्य रेरिव कीर्तिपृष्ठं गिरेरिव ऊर्ध्वपवित्रो वाजिनीव स्वमृतमस्मि द्रविणगुं सवर्चसं सुमेधा अमृतोक्षितः इति त्रिशङ्कोर्वेदानुवचनम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। गुकारस्त्वन्धकारश्च ऋकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। नमः श्री शंकरानंद गुरुपादाम्बुजन्मने सविलासमहामोह ग्राहग्रासैककर्मणे। The 15th verse. चिदानंदमय ब्रह्म प्रतिबिंब समन्वित तमोरजसत्त्वगुणा प्रकृतिर्द्विविधा च सा सत्त्वशुद्ध्यविशुद्धिभ्याम् माया विद्ये च ते मते। माया बिंबो वशीकृत्य तां स्यात् सर्वज्ञ ईश्वरः। अविद्यावशगस्त्वन्यः तद्वैचित्र्यादनेकधा। साकारणशरीरं स्यात् प्राज्ञस्तत्राभिमानवान्। So here the teacher is preparing a whole background of ultimately for us to be able to do the Atma Anatma Viveka, to be able to discriminate between the self and the non-self. It was also said that avidya or ignorance is a cause which weighs the true nature of the self and which creates, on the other hand, an erroneous notion about myself. Now, to explain the nature of this avidya or ignorance, here Vidyaranya Swami introduces the concept of Prakriti. So, we should know that every author uses those terms in slightly different ways. The manner in which the word avidya is employed here may be slightly different from the way avidya may be employed elsewhere. So just as whenever we take a textbook, right in the beginning they clarify what is X and what is Y and what is gamma, what is beta. Because different people use the symbols to mean different things, different authors. And so also this author has his own specific meanings assigned to specific terms which are not too different from what is being used elsewhere, but still here the Moola Karanam, the principal cause from which everything evolves is called Prakriti. Prakarshena Kruti Yogyatvat, that which is the potential of creation is called Prakriti. It is a potential state, and therefore it is said Sattva Rajas Tamo Gunanam Samyavastha. It is Samyavastha, a state of balance of the three gunas Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. In that balance there is a potential of the creation. The creation is not commenced yet, because creation can be there only when there is an imbalance. Motion can be there when there is an imbalance. Air can flow from higher pressure to lower pressure, or electricity can flow from higher voltage to lower voltage. There cannot be flow or motion if there is equality. So, in the beginning, before the creation commences, there is what we call Samyavastha, or a state of balance between the three gunas. It is a potential state, and therefore it is called Prakriti, because there is a potential of creation. This Prakriti then undergoes modification. First modification is what is called Maya. Again, this author uses the word Maya in his own way, because here, where he has used the word Prakriti, very often word Maya is used to mean what is meant by Prakriti here. Very often Maya and Avidya are also used synonymously. Prakriti, Maya, Avidya very often mean the same thing. And therefore, here however, he is defining his terms, and accordingly those terms will be utilized subsequently in the text. So he defines Maya as that Prakriti, Vishuddha Sattva Pradhana Prakriti Maya. That Prakriti in which Sattva is predominant. Rajas and Tamas may be there, but then basically what is there is Sattva. So that state of Prakriti which is predominantly or which is essentially pure with reference to, in Sattva, the state of Prakriti is called Maya. And then another avastha or another state of that Prakriti is called Avidya. And this is the Avishuddhi. When Avishuddha Sattva is there, which means that when Sattva is dominated by Rajas and Tamas, that state of Prakriti is called Avidya. See, Avidya here is defined as a state or avastha of Prakriti. Maya is also defined as an avastha or a state of Prakriti, where Prakriti is defined as the Moola Karanam, original cause. then Brahman, one, gets reflected in this Prakriti. Prakriti has this nature that it reflects Brahman, in whichever state it is. So Maya, which is Vishuddha Sattva Pradhana Prakriti, that Brahman reflected in that Maya or Vishuddha Sattva comes to be called Ishvara. Why? Because that Vishuddha Sattva means knowledge. Sattva means knowledge. And it is Ishvara is the one who is possessed of all the knowledge or omniscience, and that all the knowledge or omniscience is the nature of Vishuddha Sattva, namely Maya, and therefore Brahman reflected in or identified with or conditioned by what we call Maya is called Ishvara. In that sense, the word Ishvara is employed here. Elsewhere, Ishvara can be employed to mean Param Brahma also, and whatever. So here Ishvara means Param Brahma as conditioned by or as reflected in Vishuddha Sattva Pradhana Prakriti. And who is Jiva? Same Brahman reflected in what we call Avishuddha or Malina Sattva. So Malina Sattva means where Sattva is contaminated by Rajas and Tamas. So Brahman reflected in Malina Sattva Pradhana Prakriti is called Jiva. Now what happens is, since Maya is of the nature of knowledge, therefore Brahman reflected in Maya, who is called Ishvara, controls Maya, because it is Sattva and therefore it is under the control of Ishvara. Whereas this Malina Sattva has predominance of Rajas and Tamas, and therefore that controls Jiva. So Jiva is under the control of Avidya, where Ishvara controls Maya. This is the main difference. We were saying yesterday how knowledge and ignorance makes all the difference. Take the case of a horse. So if you know how to ride the horse, well, that becomes a blessing. If you don't know how to ride the horse, that very horse becomes a great burden. So ignorance, you are under the control of the horse. Horse will take you where it wants to go. When you have the knowledge of controlling the horse, that very horse will take you where you want to go. And so you control the thing when you have the knowledge, and you are controlled by a thing when you are ignorant. This Jiva, who is reflected in Malina Sattva or Avidya, is controlled by that Avidya. And this Jiva and Ishvara both have three states. Understand that Prakriti, when undergoes subsequent modifications, the states are states of Prakriti and not states of Jiva. So what we call waking, dream and deep sleep, these states are not the states of Atma. They are the states of Antahkaranam or the mind or Prakriti. But wherever Prakriti is, Atma will be reflected in it, and therefore it also as though becomes the state of Atma on account of identification. So this Avidya and Maya both are causal states. They are the cause for subsequent creations. And so it is called Karana Shariram. So Avidya is called Karana Shariram because it is the cause for all the subsequent creations. And this Jiva, the reflected consciousness identified with Avidya, is called Prajna. And that is a state that obtains in deep sleep. In deep sleep, there is this predominance of Avidya or Malina Sattva, and Jiva identified with that is called Prajna. And again Brahman reflected in Maya is called Ishvara. So Ishvara and Prajna, these two concepts are introduced. Same Brahman is called Ishvara when reflected in Vishuddha Sattva Pradhana Prakriti, and same Brahman is called Jiva when reflected in Malina Sattva Pradhana Prakriti. Now going to the 18th verse, as the Tika commentator says, Karma Praptam Sukshma Shariram Tad Upadikam Jivam Vyutpadayitum Tat Karana Akashadi Srishtim Aha. Now the author wants to describe the other states of Jiva. We must understand now what is dream state, what is waking state. In order to explain that, he creates here background by explaining the creation. So first the Karana Sharira or the causal body is described, which is Avidya. Now the subtle body is going to be described, and then the gross body is going to be described. How from the ignorance first this subtle body is created, and subsequently how the gross body is created. How this jiva identified with subtle body is called Tejasa or the dreamer, and how the same jiva identified with the gross body is called Vishwa or the Vaikara. And so this creation of the elements and elementals is now described from this verse on. So the 18th verse. So it says Krama Praptam Sukshma Shariram Tadupadikam Jivam Krama Praptam. What obtains in sequence? From Karana Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, second in order. Tadupadikam Jivam, and Jiva who is identified with that Sukshma Sharira, Vyutpadaitum Bodhaitum, in order to teach us that Tat Karana Akashadi Srishtimaha, Tat Karana Sukshma Sharira Karanam. That Akashadi Srishti, now the creation of all the five elements, Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi, the creation of these five elements is described, because from these five elements the Sukshma Sharira or subtle body is created. So, in order to describe the subtle body, first is to describe the creation of five elements, because these five elements are the cause of the subtle body, or five elements are from which the subtle body is made. Thus 18th verse says, Tamah pradhana prakrutehe tadbhogayeshwarajñaya viyat pavana tejombu bhuvo bhutani jagnire. Tamah pradhana prakrute. This is the third state of prakriti. First is Vishuddha sattva pradhana, that's called Maya. Malina sattva pradhana called avidya. Tamah pradhana, where tamah is predominant. Sattva and rajas may be there but insignificant. What is predominantly there is tamas. And from that this whole creation is made. So creation is from the tamah pradhana prakriti. So tamah pradhana prakrute, from this prakriti in which tamo guna is predominant, tad bhogaya, for the enjoyment or experience of these jivas, Ishvara Agneya, by the command of the Lord, Viyat Pavana Tejaha Ambu Bhuvaha Bhutani Chagnire. These five elements which are called Akash, Vayu, Agni, Apah, Prithvi, all of these were born, all of these were created. So all of these were born by the command of the Lord. Going down to the Tika, so Tad Bhogaya, that is hidden there. Tamah Pradhana Prakrutehe Tad Bhogaya. Tad Bhogaya means Tesham Bhogaya Tad Bhogaya, for their enjoyment. Bhoga means experience, in fact. Tesha means Prajnanam Bhogaya. Because Prajna, that avidya upahita chaitanyam, is just described in the previous verse. And therefore that prajna is what is referred to here by the pronoun tat. Tat means that. Only because the reference has been just made earlier, otherwise you can't use that pronoun. Only when we are discussing, talking about a person, then in the beginning we call him by name, that Devadatta came, and then he sat here. Now what is he? He means Devadatta of whom we are talking. Sometimes out of context we say, Devadatta came, he went up. We thought Devadatta went up. He means that Yajnadatta went up. So sometimes when people are not consistent, then these problems happen. But in consistent communication, the pronouns always refer to that which is already mentioned. Otherwise you cannot use pronoun. The other day he came. Now we wonder, what is he talking about? The other day he came. Who came? Now he has in his mind who came, but he thinks that, you also know what he knows. That's why sometimes I say, he came. But that pronoun he can be used only when the person who is referred to by the pronoun is already introduced and is already known, So similarly, earlier verse talked about this jiva, prajna. So tad bhogaya means prajnanam bhogaya. For the experience of this prajnas, for the jivas. Sukha dukkha sakshatkara siddhaye. This is a definition of the word bhoga. Sukha dukkha sakshatkara bhoga. What is bhoga means experience? Sukha dukkha sakshatkara. Experience of pleasure and pain or experience of happiness and unhappiness, this is called bhoga. Usually the word bhoga is understood as enjoyment. It is not enjoyment, it is experience. Sukha dukkha, what is sakshatkara? A direct perception or direct experience. So direct experience of sukha and dukkha is called bhoga. And this prajna wants this. This jiva wants to experience sukha dukkha. And therefore this creation is necessary. As we said, it is ignorance which brings about the need for the whole creation. Ignorance brings about the need to gain experience of happiness and unhappiness. Ignorance brings about in me a sense of inadequacy, as we said. In order to become adequate, I want different experiences, thinking that different experiences will make me adequate, will make me complete. And therefore, I express my desire to gain different experiences. And to fulfill that desire, Lord has to create this universe. You imagine just a simple desire of having a cup of coffee, just a simple desire. Suppose at the beginning of creation, I just place a simple request before the Lord. Lord, I want a cup of coffee. Now tell me, what all will have to be created for a cup of coffee, do you know? For coffee you require coffee and milk and sugar and water and fire. Now for coffee you require the fields and you require the seeds and you require the farmers, you require the earth, you require sun, you require rain, and this and sun you require, moon also you require, because both of them contribute to the growth of the plant. You require water, you require air, and you require oceans. All this whole phenomenon is required in order for the coffee to grow there. And then water. So again you require rains, you require earth, etc. Fire. Again you require sun, you require coal, and you require the whole process. Sugar. Again you require sugar cane, fields and whatever else. And so each one of these requires, and then again a sugar cane field, as you said, will require the whole universe. Because you need sun, the moon, and then the sun can be there only when it is held in balance again in the whole galaxy. And moon can be there only when it is held in balance in the solar system. And so for the sun you require a whole one galaxy. For one galaxy you require all the galaxies. And therefore you require the whole universe. And all the interacting forces, including all the human beings and all the jivas also, all the creatures. Because you require all kinds of creatures in the agriculture, There are all rodents are there, all snakes are there, all of them serve some purpose. And so the human beings serve the purpose. There's a whole chain of transportation and whatnot. All of this is required just for a cup of coffee. And so he said, Lord, I want a cup of coffee. That means the whole cosmos is required. That's why we say how ignorance becomes the cause of everything. Why is ignorance called Karana Shariram, causal body? Because it is the cause for the whole creation. And so Tesham bhogaya, prajnanam bhogaya. Since the prajna of the jivas want the experience of different experiences, happiness and happiness. Nobody wants unhappiness, but wind up with unhappiness. That's a different thing. Not that anybody wants unhappiness. But what happens is, what I think to be happiness turns out to be unhappiness. Everybody wants only happiness, but ultimately we discover that what I thought to be happiness, in the end run turns out to be unhappiness. But what I want is different experience. And for that, so tamah pradhana prakrutehe, tamo guna pradhanayaha prakrutehe. From the prakriti which is predominant in tamo guna, purvoktayaha prakrutehe, by prakriti which has been stated earlier. What is that prakriti? Chidanandamaya Brahma Pratibimba Samanvita. That prakriti which is endowed with the reflection of Brahman. So understand that Brahman is ever there. Wherever prakriti is, Brahman must be there. Prakriti alone cannot be. So from that prakriti, upadana karana bhutayaha, and this tamah pradhana prakriti becomes upadanam, the material cause for the whole creation. Like the clay is the material cause for the pots, or the gold is the material cause of the ornaments, so also this tamah pradhana prakriti is the material cause for the whole growth in the subtle creation. Prakrutehe. So which case is it? Prakrutehe, is it fifth case or sixth case? To clarify it is said, Bhutayah sakashad, from this prakriti, meaning it is fifth case. So apadana panchami. So in order, whenever they want to indicate material cause, they place that in the fifth case, that is called apadana panchami. So tamah pradhana prakritehe, that's the fifth case. Upadana karanabhutayah prakritehe sakashat, from this prakriti. Ishvara Agnyaya, is this creation an accident? Is Big Bang or whatever it is there an accident? It says Ishvara Agnyaya, by the command of the Lord. Who is Ishvara? Again, Vishuddha Sattva Pradhana Maya Upahita Chaitanyam. Ishvara is Param Brahma or Chaitanyam. So Chidatma reflected in Maya. Vishuddha Sattva Pradhana Prakriti, who is omniscient and possessed of omniscience, omnipotent, everything by his Agnya. How does the Ishvara do the Agnya? How does he command? Ishanadi Shakti Yuktasya Jagad Adhisthatuhu Agnya. Ishvara Agnya means Ishanadi Shakti Yuktasya. Who is Ishvara? Ishanadi Shakti Yuktaha. Ishvara is the one who is possessed with the power of rulership. Ishvara means the ruler, actually. So one who is possessed of such capabilities of ruling, etc., one is omniscient, all powerful, all pervasive, all knowing. So from that Ishvara, Jagad Adhisthatuhu, who is very Adhisthata, who is again the very controller, the creator of the entire creation. By his Agnya, what's the nature of the command of the Lord? Says there, Iksha Purvaka Sarjan Ichha Rupaya Agnya. So we hear this in Upanishad. So kamayata bahusyam prajayaya. Atmava idamagra ekagrasit. Sa ikshata. Lokan srujayati. This is how Aitareya Upanishad starts. Atmava idameka evagra asit. Sa ikshata. There was in the beginning of the creation, whole this creation was known as Atma. That Atma, ikshata, deliberated. Lokan srujayati, may I create the different worlds. Then Taittiriya Upanishad says, so kamayata bahusyam prajayaya iti. So that Atma, the Lord, desired, may I become many. Chandogya also talks about that. Taddaikshata. That means that Param Brahma deliberated. So Upanishad describes this Ishvara Ichha in this manner. Ishvara Ichha means the desire in the Lord. Iksha Purvaka Sarjan Ichha Rupaya. So all creation takes place as preceded by Ichha. That means that creation is always proceeds from a conscious being, not from an unconscious or inert thing. Because there is a big contention between the Vedantins and the Sankhyas and the scientists also now. Because scientists are very similar to Sankhya's are similar to scientists. Because Sankhya say that the cause of this creation is pradhanam, means matter. And so matter has the capability of creating. That's interesting. How can matter create? It is jada, inert. And then how can inert ever create? He says, well, this matter of pradhanam has the inherent ability to respond to the needs of the conscious being, namely this Purusha. And so Purusha is the Atma, and for his bhoga and apavarga, for his enjoyment and for his liberation, this pradhanam creates this world before him so that he can fulfill his desire. How does this matter know what this fellow desires? How can matter know? Says matter can know. Matter can respond to the desire of the Purusha. Have you ever seen it? Yes, we have seen it. So they give illustration. Drashtanta is very necessary whenever you want to prove your theory. So they give a drashtanta. Where do you find an inert thing, matter, responding to the need of a conscious being? Says, well, when the cow returns home, after the whole day of grazing, when the cow returns home, and when the cow sees the calf, you know what happens? The milk automatically starts coming from the udder of the cow. This milk, which is unconscious inert entity, knows the need of that calf. And moment the cow sees the calf, that milk immediately starts flowing out of the udder. And so here is an illustration where the inert matter knows the requirement of the conscious entity. Similarly, also, if one illustration you can give, then you can always prove this, you see. Similarly also, this Pradhanam knows the need of this Purusha and accordingly creates. They give another illustration also. Just as the rains or the clouds, they know the need of the trees. It is our experience that wherever there is a great deal of vegetation like forests, etc., there the rain is always more. And where there is desert, there is no rain. How do the clouds or the rain know where to rain? Because there are the trees and trees need that. So clouds, knowing the need of the trees, they rain there. And thus these clouds also understand the inherent ability to determine the need of this conscious entity and accordingly respond. That's how they say that it is a matter, pradhanam, which is the material, which is even the efficient cause of this whole creation. Not only material cause, but the efficient cause also. The scientists also would say the whole creation, from Big Bang, from that unified field of whatever it is energy, everything has come. Because when you don't accept Ishvara, then only matter remains, and that alone decides the pattern of creation. Who decided this configuration of this cosmos? Suppose by Big Bang everything came out, but who decided how that configuration will be? How the whole setup will be? Whether there will be planets, etc., a planet such as Earth, whether there will be so many kinds of living beings, who has decided all this? If you do not accept Ishvara as an entity, then obviously all those decisions are made in the matter only, isn't it? That all this pattern is inbuilt or built into the matter. Right on that first particle from which the whole universe emerged, there everything was built in and it's just evolving. So according to them, matter alone has the intelligence also which creates. But we say no, matter is matter. It is inert. That's why it is called matter. An inert thing cannot think. So thinking always must be in a conscious entity. Planning also must be in a conscious entity. For creation you require knowledge. Without knowledge one cannot create. And knowledge always resides in a conscious entity. And therefore Ishvara, who is nothing but Param Brahma, as associated with this Maya, he alone is the appropriate agency, the principle, because he is a conscious entity, is omniscient, has all the knowledge, and therefore he alone can be the nimitta karanam, intelligent cause or efficient cause. Therefore it said, Iksha Purvaka Sarjan Ichha Rupaya. What's the agnya of the Lord? That Ikshnam. Sa Ikshata, Tat Aikshata. That Ikshnam, or the deliberation. And that deliberation only is meant, this Ikshana Shruti is for what? Just to indicate that creation is preceded by Ikshanam, by some desire, by some deliberation. And that there must be knowledge before creation or for creation, and that the creation must always proceed from a conscious entity. So desire can be only in a conscious entity. So by saying that the Lord desire, meaning that it is a conscious being who is the efficient cause of this creation. So therefore the Ikshanam becomes a nimitta karanam and tamah pradhana prakriti becomes upadana karanam. So two causes for creation, material cause and efficient cause. And which is the material cause? Tamah pradhana prakriti. Prakriti in which tamas is predominant. And what is the nimitta karanam, intelligent cause? This Ishvara Agnya. Iksha Purvaka Sarjan Ichha Rupaya Nimitta Karan Bhutaya Agnya. Agnya, which is the Nimitta Karanam, which is Ikshanam. So by that means that the whole configuration of the pattern is built into the first desire. When Taittiriya Upanishad would say, so kamayata, he desired, in that very desire, the whole universe is built in. And that desire alone unfolds itself into the form of the whole cosmos. And that desire will carry the whole cosmos up to Pralaya. And again, at the beginning of the next cycle, because of the combined requirements of all the jivas who are there, that combined desire of all the jivas expresses as one desire, first desire of the Lord, and that becomes the very point from which everything unfolds. Meaning that the whole configuration of the cosmos is already contained in that very first desire. Just as in the very first desire, I want to have a temple. The whole temple is contained. It is the very first thought which unfolds itself into a temple. So all the different details unfold, those details and the plans unfold, then the materials are gathered, and the whole temple is built. But what we find here is the concrete structure. The structure is first conceived of as a first thought. And so also that is called Agnya. And by Agnya or by that thought, Vyedadi Prasiddhyantani Panchabhutani, these five elements, the Apanchikrita Panchabhutani means Sukshma Bhutani, the five Tanmatras or the subtle elements, Vyedadi beginning from Vyed or Akasha, Prithvi Antani ending up to Prithvi. So Vyet means Akasha, Pavana means air, Tejaha means fire, Ambu means water, Bhu, Bhuhu, and then plural is Bhuvaha, Bhu means Prithvi. These elements, Jagnire, Pradur Bhutani, Utpannani Ityarthaha, they were created. So these five elements evolved, let us say, they manifested. So this is the Vedantic model of explaining the creation. And why five elements? Because we have five senses. Everything is five, huh? The organs of perception are also five, organs of action are also five, these pranas are also five, so the objects in the world are also five, and so elements are also five. So all these things consisting of five is called prapancha, consisting of all these five different elements or five aspects. So this verse describes how the five subtle elements are created first. Then continuing further, Bhuta Srishtim Abhidhaya Bhautik Srishtim Abhidadhanaha Adau Jnanendriya Srishtimaha. Bhuta Srishtim Abhidhaya. Abhidhaya means having stated the creation of these elements. Bhautik Srishtim Abhidadhanaha. One who is now in the process of telling us about the creation of elementals. So elements are created. By combination of the elements we get what we call elemental creation. In order to describe the creation of this elementals or combination of elements, Adu in the beginning, Jnanendriya Srishtimaha, the creation of Jnanendriya or the organs of perception is now being stated here. 19th verse. Sattvam Shaif Panchabhistesham Kramadhindriya Panchagam Shrotratvagakshirasana Granakhyamupajayate. Now we must understand that this is Tamah Pradhana Prakriti, Prakriti in which Tamo Guna is Pradhanam, but some element of Rajas and Sattva is there. In this Prakriti from which the world is created, the little bit Sattva and little bit Rajas also is there, and Tamas is predominant. It's interesting how matter predominates in the whole creation. That's why the scientists wonder. Wherever you look, there is only Jada, matter, matter, matter. Even on this earth, the predominance is of matter. What we call consciousness is only confined to the living beings, on the earth also. On the earth also there is predominance of matter. And what is earth? Nothing in the whole solar system, which is all matter. What is solar system? Nothing in the whole of this, the galaxy, which is also all matter. Just look around everywhere in the cosmos, there is matter, matter, matter. And therefore, it is quite natural for them to think that matter is the truth of this creation. They would think that the consciousness is an accident, isn't it? Where do we find consciousness? Only on the earth? Maybe there may be some planet, some place, who knows? But so far there is no evidence. And therefore, consciousness as we find seems to be more like an accident rather than like the truth. And this consciousness is derived from, or it has arisen from, some combination of matter. There is a wonder matter called carbon, and that is responsible for life. And nobody can understand why that is so, What is so wonderful about carbon? Because it ultimately resolves in the same atoms. The molecules are different. Atoms ultimately will be the same and all the particles. But there is something about carbon which is responsible for life. It's a wonderful phenomenon. It's an accident. So life or consciousness is an accident that happens to a planet like Earth. Don't tell me that consciousness is the truth and matter is something that is, superimposed upon consciousness or a product of consciousness. It's not so. Charvakas also think like that. As the material scientists think today, our Charvakas also have the same theory. However, that is not what we say. We say that even though there may be predominance of matter, predominance or majority does not make truth. And so it is this tamah pradhana prakriti in which tamas or matter or inertness is predominant, but some sattva and some rajas is there. Now when 5 elements are created from this prakriti, that karya, the effect, is going to reflect the qualities of the cause. So cause has predominance of tamas and some sattva and rajas. So the 5 elements also will have some rajas, some sattva and predominance of tamas. And so he describes now how from the sattva amsha, the sattva aspect of the 5 elements, the 5 organs of perception, from the combined sattva aspect, what we call the antahkarana of the mind, from the rajas aspect of the 5 elements, the organs of action, the combined rajas aspect of the 5 elements, the prana, and from the tamas aspect, all this grossified matter. In this manner, the creation will be described. So the 19th verse describes here the creation of the Jnanendriyani. The Tika says, Tesham Vedadinam Panchavihi Sattvaamshaihi Panchavihi Tesham of them. Again this pronoun refers to what? What has been mentioned in the previous verse, namely the 5 elements. Tesham Vedadinam Panchavihi Sattvaamshaihi, from the Sattvaamsha of these 5 elements, Sattva Guna Bhagaihi Upadana Bhutaihi. So that Sattva Guna aspect, the Sattva Guna Amsha of these 5 elements, which forms the Upadana of the material cause of the subsequent creation, Shrotrat Tvagakshi Rasana Ghranakyam Dheendriya Panchakam. Dheendriya Panchakam, Dheendriyani Jnanendriyani. So Jnanartha Indriyani is called Jnanendriyani. In fact, it is a Madhyama Padalopi Samas. Jnanendriyani, Jnanartha Indriyani. The sense organs meant for knowledge is called Jnanendriyani, or the organs of perception, organs of knowledge. And the same order they are given here. Shrotra Tvag Akshi Rasana Ghranakyam. Shrotra means ears. And the same order. The Vyat, Pavana, Tejaha, Ambu and Bhuhu. In these 5 these elements are in that order. And so also the 5 organs of perception also in the same order. And so from the Sattva aspect of Vyat or Akash, we have called the Rasanendriya or the tongue. And Grahana, from the Sattva aspect of the Bhuhu or the Prithvi, we have the Grahanam, Granendriya, or the organ of perception of smell. So we have the fivefold objects. We have these five organs of perception to perceive those objects. And the perception is of the same element. From whichever element a respective sense organ is created, that sense organ is capable of perceiving that particular element. And so the Akasha is the element which has the quality of Shabda or the sound, and therefore the ears are able to grasp the sound. Vayu has the quality of Sparsha, and therefore this Tvagindriya, it grasps the Sparsha. Fire has the form, and therefore the eyes which are created from fire, they perceive the form or color. Fire has the predominance, the quality of fire is color, and color is perceived by the eyes which are created from the Sattva aspect of fire. And then what is the nature of guna of water? The taste. And so Rasanendriyam, created from the Sattva aspect of water, perceives the taste. And smell is the quality of the Prithvi, and Granendriyam, which is created from the Prithvi, perceives the smell. Very beautiful setup is there. And you know, of course, that all of these become grosser and grosser as you go along. That Akasha has only one guna, quality, namely Shabda. Vayu has two, namely Shabda and Sparsha. Agni of fire has three, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa. Water has four, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa. And Prithvi has five, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So the creation is from the subtle to the gross. As the creation proceeds, the grossness increases, the qualities also increase. Siddhindriya Panchakam. Dhendriyani, Jnanendriyani, Tesham Panchakam Kramad Upajayate. These five organs of perception are born in the sequence in which they are mentioned, order in which they are mentioned. Ekaika Bhuta Sattvamshat, Ekaikam Indriyam Jayate Ityartha. From this Sattva aspect of each one, each corresponding organ of perception is born. That's the meaning there. Is it true? Will it be, suppose this is disproved by science, what will you do? Suppose the model presented here by Vedanta. Vedanta talks of five elements, scientists don't talk of five elements. Or suppose they talk of six elements, then what will happen? Nothing will happen, we'll change the model, that's all. Suppose this model needs a certain, these are all models, and so we need not be so identified with them. But this is a model which is very useful to analyze our experiences, understand the experiences, and know their nature. For that this model is. And so far science has not told us anything that will contradict this. But in case there is something, it doesn't matter. We are willing to change it. Suppose there are six elements. They discover a sixth element. What will happen? Nothing will happen. Suppose you find human beings with seven senses. Fine. Seven elements, you see. After all, mithya. And therefore you can have different variations. What is that? Okay, continuing further, it is said, Sattvamshanam Pratyekam Asadharan Karyani Abhidhaya Sarvesham Sadharanam Karyamaha. Sattvamshanam Pratyekam. From the Sattva aspect of the five elements, Pratyekam from the individual from elements, there are respective sense organs. Pratyekam Asadharana Karyani Abhidhaya. How Sattva aspect of every element gives rise to a particular sense perception. Sarvesham Sadharanam Karyamaha. Now Sattva aspect of the combined Sattva aspect of all the five elements gives rise to what we call Antahkaranam. So the 20th verse says, Tairantah karanam sarvaihi vritti bhedena tadvidha mano vimarsha rupam syad बुद्धिस्या निश्चयात्मिका. Taihi means from the combined sattva aspect of all the five elements, antahkaranam syat. Then antahkaranam, the inner organ, is born. Sarvaihi, taihi sarvaihi antahkaranam upajayate. From the combined sattva aspect, the antahkaranam is born. Tad vritti bhedena dvidha. That antahkaranam again is subdivided into two aspects, depending upon the two functions that it performs. Our mind, so what we call mind in English is called antahkaranam here, and that mind, based on its functions, is again twofold. Mano vimarsha rupam syat. One is called manaha, whose nature is vimarsha or doubt, and buddhi syat nischayatmika. The other function is nischaya or determination, ascertainment, and that time the mind is called buddhi. So says here, taihi sattvaamshaihi sarvaihi sambhuya vartamanaihi. Sambhuya means militva. So all these five elements together, vartamanaihi antahkaranam manobuddhi upadana bhutam dravyam upajayate. Iti anusanga. Antahkaranam is that mind stuff, as they call it, What is the mind stuff? Mind stuff is that from which the manaha and the buddhi are made up of. So it again makes sense that if from the individual elements, individual organs of perception are created, then the mind must be created from all the five elements, because mind is behind every organ of perception. So mind is behind the ears also, behind eyes also, behind every organ of perception. The mind must be there, otherwise the organ of perception by itself cannot function. Anyatra manaha abhuvam na adarsham. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad describes. So here is a man who is sitting there. In Bhagavatam also this description comes. That on the roadside this man is sitting. And he is so busy with his work. He is an iron smith, and he is working with something there. With such concentration. After he was working for half an hour, and somebody happened to pass by. Says, did you see the king pass by before 15 minutes here with his retinue? He says, no, I did not see. You did not see the king with his retinue? You are sitting here. Yes. Anyatra manaha abhuvam. My mind was elsewhere. Na adarsham, I did not see. Meaning that even though the eyes may be there, you may be looking but not seeing. Because eyes are there, if the mind is not behind the eyes, then perception does not take place. Means you don't register things. And so also, yes, behind each organ of perception, the mind must be there. That is how they prove. In fact, according to Nayayikas, even the sense organ of perception, indriyani, atindriyani, they say that the organs of perception cannot be perceived. You know that? You cannot perceive the organ of perception. Because for perception we have these organs themselves. How do you perceive the organs themselves? You can't perceive them. So how do you know that the organs of perception are? They prove that by inference. That we have a faculty of seeing is proven by inference. That we have faculty of hearing is proven by inference. That this is the karana shashkuli, this is the space circumscribed by the ear, and the organ of perception that resides there is called organ of hearing. But that is subtle, that you can't perceive. How do you say that it is there? It is there because the action, the kriya of hearing takes place. Because every kriya, so kriya sakartruka, every kriya and sakarana, every kriya or activity must have a karanam. An activity can be performed only when there is a means for performance of the activity. Like chidik kriyavat, when a woodcutter, for example, splits wood, that splitting of the wood is an action which can take place only when he has an instrument or a tool, namely the axe. So if he has an axe, that alone, with that he alone he can split the wood. So since the splitting of the wood takes place, axe must be there, otherwise splitting cannot take place. So kriya or action can be accomplished only when there is karanam or the means. So every kriya or every action is always sakarana, always accompanied with a means. Here also it is our experience that the action of hearing takes place. So hearing also is a kriya. It being kriya, it must have a karanam, it must have an instrument. And therefore we say that the organ of perception, namely ear, is there because hearing takes place. How do you say eyes are there? Because seeing takes place. Seeing is a kriya. Every kriya must have an instrument. So instrument, namely eyes, are there because the seeing takes place. And this is how they establish the existence of organs of perception. How do you establish the existence of mind? Again by inference. That anyatra manaha abhuvam na adarsham. That even though eyes are there, sometimes we don't see. That shows that some other element also is required for the perception to take place. And that was over and above the organ of perception. And that is something that is common to all organs of perception. And that is called the mind. So mind is associated with all the 5 organs of perception. And therefore it is logical that it must be made of the combination of the sattva aspect of all the 5 elements. And that is what it says, taihi sattvangsaihi sarvaihi sambhuya sambhuya vartamanehi. All those 5 elements which exist in combination. Antahkaranam manobuddhi upadana bhutam dravyam. Dravya means that material or that the substance which makes up the material for the manaha and buddhi. Upajayate the anushangaha. From the previous verse, upajayate must be brought here also. So antahkaranam upajayate. Tasya avantar bhedam sanimittam aha. Avantar bhedam. This antahkaranam has a secondary distinction of the categories. And what is it that gives sanimittam? What is it that is responsible for this different bhedas, the 2 bhedas of the antahkaranam? That same antahkaranam of the mind is called manaha when it is performing one function. Same antahkaranam is called buddhi when performing another function. Tadantahkaranam vritti bhedena parinama bhedena dvidha dviprakaram bhavati. On account of vritti bheda, that means difference in faculty or functioning, or parinama bheda on account of the difference in modification, dvidha dviprakaram bhavati. That antahkaranam of the mind becomes 2-fold. Vritti bhedameva darshayati manaha iti. So what is this difference in functioning? Vimarsha rupam. Vimarsha samshayatmika vrittihi. Sa swarupam yasya tat tatha vimarsha rupam. Tan manasyat. So that antahkaranam, when it performs the function of doubting, then we call it manaha. Nischayatmika nischaya adhyavasaya sah atma swarum yasyasya nischayatmika sa vrittihi buddhisyat. Same antahkaranam, when performs the function of decision or ascertainment or knowledge, then we call it buddhi. Don't think that there are 2 faculties inside. Manaha and buddhi are not 2 different faculties. One faculty, namely mind, alone is called manaha when it is doubting. That same mind is called buddhi when it performs the function of determination or decision. So doubting faculty, that same mind when it is doubting, it is called manaha. Same mind when it is deciding, it is called buddhi. Not that manaha and buddhi are 2 different things. Like the same person when he is driving the car can be called driver, and when he goes and starts cooking can be called cook. Same person is called by different names depending upon the function that the person performs, and so also the same antahkaranam is called by 2 names depending upon the function that it performs. In fact, there are 2 more, chittam and ahankaraha. So chintana kartru chittam, when the same mind thinks or recollects, then it is called Chittam. And same mind when it's ahankartru, when it asserts, it is called ahankara. Usually that chittam is included in the buddhi, ahankara is included in the, or ahankara is included in the buddhi, chittam is included in the mind. There also variations are there. So these two in fact stand for all the four faculties that is performed, they are performed by antahkaranam. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.